The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Well, we are talking to trainers and competitors today. We had a lot of that, and a guy that does both that joins us right now, Chris Cerino. Of course, you know him probably from the Top Shot series, but also now from GUNTALK TV or Guns and Gear and some of the other things that we're doing on. Chris has been working with us for a few years now, and Chris is on the road. You might just tell people where you have been for the last weekend, Chris.
Well, Tom, we finally got home. We just got home about an hour ago, and we were down in West Virginia in Glengarry at the Peacemaker National Training Range down there, and we shot the NRA World Shooting Championship during the day, and in the night we shot the formerly the Crimson Trace night match, and now the Starlight 3-gun.
That was, now, of course, you were very heavily involved with the Crimson Trace midnight 3-gun event. And, of course, this is kind of the continuation with Jim Shepard picking that up. So this was the first ever Starlight 3-gun. So you were shooting in the day for the NRA competition, then you were shooting at night in the dark with lights and lasers and stuff for the other. I mean, did you get any sleep at all?
Well, the first night was pretty rough because we didn't start shooting until the afternoon. The NRA match was a half-day format, so you either shot in the morning or you shot in the afternoon. So first day we shot in the afternoon, and just about the time we finished, we enjoyed a fantastic meal provided by Jim in the Starlight 3-gun, and then right from there we hit the ranges and we shot 4 stages that night, and we got back to our hotel just about 1:30 in the morning.
So how was the Starlight 3-gun? This is brand new. I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like this before.
Well, I'll tell you what, other than the location, the match itself was almost exactly the same. It was great. The stages were great. The lighting was great. It was dark. I mean, it was dark. It was dark as hell down there in the mountains of West Virginia at night.
So you're saying other than the location, of course, the Crimson Trace location was out in Bend, Oregon. So basically what you're saying is they kind of moved the whole thing and took it to the East Coast.
Yep, they did. They brought it right over. I mean, there were some great changes. Dinner was excellent, of course, and there was entertainment. There was a live band, which was rocking out. I mean, it was fantastic, and you could hear it all across the ranges. So when you weren't shooting, you were listening to live music. They had a light show going on. And before we started, there was a big fireworks display. So it was really, really cool. It was a big event.
That is terrific. You had the family there?
Well, it was just Michelle and I, because, you know, Colton started college this year.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Colton was signed up to shoot the world match and the night match with me, and Michelle was going to shoot the night match, but she wasn't going to shoot the world match. So since Colton didn't come, she ended up taking his spot, and she was delightfully surprised. She had a great time shooting the world match.
Well, and for those that I was going to say, I bet I was going to say that now people are seeing the whole family because, of course, for the Yankee Cup show we did for Gun Talk, we've got you and Colton and Michelle, and then we just sent off. It hasn't aired yet, but we've got Michelle and Colton, mother and son, going to the FTW ranch in Texas and doing some shooting there and getting some training in hunter prep and long range and all of that. So it was a hoot.
Yeah, that long-range training really came into play for the world match with Michelle because we had targets out to almost 900 yards. So we were shooting bolt guns and semi-autos and a variety of targets from, you know, anywhere from 500 to 900, and it was excellent.
Now, you have not seen the FTW Ranch show yet, right?
No, I have not. All I know is the stories.
Yeah, a lot of stories. You're going to love this. You can tell that Michelle is an experienced AR shooter because she's shooting this bolt, and he keeps saying, work the bolt, work the bolt, work the bolt. He goes, oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, she when she came back from that, and we went to the Industry Masters and shot, and we had bolt guns there. And I asked her after she shot, I said, did you just see me doing that with the bolt gun, or did you learn that from somebody else? She goes, well, I was just in Texas doing that. And I said, oh, I totally forgot about it. But, man, she really learned a lot.
It's well, it takes us really to the point of this whole thing. It's amazing what you can do with training. We just had Tiger McKee on a little bit earlier on the show, and he's doing something different. He's kind of moving his operation to really emphasize the private tutorials, the one-on-one, and as a trainer, as an instructor, he's talking about how much you can advance someone when you're not trying to teach 10 or 20 people at a time. And I know you're one of the best trainers I've seen. You might just talk about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom, that's one of the things we get a tremendous amount of interest in is private instruction. And people are willing to pay good money for good instruction during the day. And we get such great results. I just had another fella call me the other day, and he was telling me how his pistol shooting has changed. And it was almost 5 years ago that I worked with him. And he said, just that half a day I spent with him has changed his ability, his confidence with the gun. He never worries about it. He never misses anymore, or he never misses and wonders why he misses. And he just it never ceases to amaze me. But the one-on-one instruction, there's so much you can do with a person. You can affect them. But the one thing you got to really watch is you got to take breaks, because when you're just with one person for all that time, you got to sit down every once in a while.
Sure, because you're just pouring it in, because now it's like I don't even get a break while you're going and teaching another person on the line. It's all me, so you're just pounding me all the time. So as an instructor, you got to take a break and give the student a chance to process a little bit.
Exactly. I had one of my students tell me, and it was, I think, last summer, he said this was like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah,
and it's true.
It is.
You're getting a whole lot at once, and it's hard to take it in.
But at the same time, you're getting a whole lot at once, and so those of us who, it's hard for anybody to get away for 2, 3, 4, in some cases 5 days. You say, okay, can you take a day? Can you even take a half a day? But if you could take a day and you could do a one-on-one or two-on-one, man, you could get a ton of stuff done.
Well, Tom, if you take 20 people for one day, you can't do much. But if you get one person for one solid day, 8 hours of training, you can do an incredible amount. I mean, you could almost cover an entire 3-day course in one day with one person.
Okay, that's so funny, because that's exactly what Tiger just said. Because I said, well, you could probably get like 2 days into one. He says, no. He says, if somebody comes to you with a little bit of training, says we can probably get 3 days of training into one day.
And that's what I was just thinking of caveating that with. As long as you come in with a little bit of a base, if you come in with some fundamental knowledge and a little bit of skill, you can do an amazing amount. But if you take somebody from zero, all the way from zero, you're lucky to get that 2 days of training, because that first day is so packed with repetition and fundamentals and basics.
Sure.
And just building those motor programs that they need for success.
When you're all right, I'm gonna put you on the spot. When you teach people of all different levels, from absolute rank beginners to pretty advanced SWAT guys, if there's one thing you would say, this is what I see that a lot of people need help on, or they are either wrong on, or it's the area that will help them the most, what would that one area, that one thing be?
Oh, I would say manipulation skills, and with that, I'll include the fundamental of grip. When we talk about pistol shooting, if I'm talking about pistols, I'd say manipulation skills. People just aren't familiar with the gun. Everything from the way they hold it to the way they seat a magazine, to remove a magazine, to work the action, rack the slide, put it back into, take it out of battery, put it into battery. Those manipulation skills are the things that ultimately become automatic while your brain is solving a problem or looking for the next target.
Mm-hmm.
Your hands are working around that gun almost like a magician. And I would say manipulation skills, because this week in the night match, manipulation skills are so important when you're in the dark and you can't tell what's going on, but all you can do is feel.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was doing a thing on TV one time. We've worked together so long now. You're doing something and you're actually thinking about the presentation that you're doing on TV and not as much on the shooting sometimes. And I was doing something and I was shooting, pistol. I turned around and delivered to the camera and all and finished. And the guy says, "Man, that was great. That was a really good reload you did in the middle." I said, "What?" He said, "That reload."
Exactly.
I had no idea that I had a malfunction and had done a reload while I was doing this presentation, turned around and finished. It just happened. My brain didn't have to think about it.
Exactly. And I had that same thing happen this week with the World Shoot, because, you shoot other people's guns. What they do is manufacturers supply their guns for the stages, and the ammo and the guns are supplied. So
Right.
It's really amazing. And I was doing a 2-gun stage with an AR, and I ran down there. I shot all my shots with the AR on the close paper, and then as I started shooting the long-distance targets, I guess I had 3 malfunctions, and I just felt the gun. I felt the gun be wrong. I cleared it, and I continued to shoot. And it happened 3 times. And the manufacturer came to me later yesterday and was just beyond embarrassed and wanting to apologize for the issues with the gun. And I said, well, honestly, I didn't really think anything of it. I just did what I do and worked through it. And he goes, well, I guess you had like 3 malfunctions. And I said, yeah, 2 or 3. I don't remember.
Exactly. So, hey, tell people how they can find out more about your training and what you're doing. What's the website?
Well, we've got our website, which is ChrisCerinoTrainingGroup.com. You can find us on Facebook under Cerino Consulting and Training Group, because we're trying to change the name, but doing all that stuff has kind of been a pain because it's all of us. And you can look us up there and see where we have classes. We just had a rifle class last week in Southern Ohio, and we're pretty much done training for the year. But we'll have things coming up on there. We've got new course descriptions and level 1s and level 2s, and our diagnostic firearms instructor class will be coming out next year again, and we'll have all that stuff up on there, Tom.
All right, sounds good, Chris. I appreciate it. If you're looking it up, it's Chris Cerino, Cerino. You could probably just do a search for him, and you'll find all of those things. I appreciate it. Say hello to the family, my friend. We will see you a little bit further down. All righty, it's open lines. It's you, it's me. We're going to talk about the stuff you want to talk about now. 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in. Be right back.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to TimneyTriggers.com. That's TIMNEY Triggers.com.
In the fight for gun rights, we need ammunition, intellectual ammunition. And no one does it better than researcher John Lott, author of More Guns, Less Crime. John created the Crime Prevention Research Center to counter the junk studies being done to push gun control. But he doesn't have the big bucks of billionaires like Michael Bloomberg. All he has is us. So I'm asking for your help. Go to crimeresearch.org and donate what you can. This research makes all the difference. People ask what they can do to help preserve the Second Amendment. Honestly, this is one of the best moves you can make. If you can give a lot, that's great, but even the cost of a box of ammo helps. We need John Lott's intellectual ammunition. Go to crimeresearch.org. It's time to step up. crimeresearch.org.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever had to pull your gun to use your firearm in self-defense? Not necessarily shoot, but if you did, that obviously qualifies. But have you ever had to take your gun out in a self-defense situation? 866-TALK-GUN. Line 3, Paul's with us out of Kansas. Hey, Paul, open carry. Let's talk about it.
I just want to thank you for your comments on the subject today, and I always enjoy your show. Where I live here in western Kansas, it's getting to be more common to see people open carrying. And as gun people, that's always refreshing to see more people into the gun culture, I guess. But
right.
One thing I wanted to comment about is, it can backfire once in a while, too, especially if you're not in an area where it's common. There was a case, I can't remember the person's name, but I believe it was in Reno, Nevada, and there's a book out about the case now called, I believe the name of the book is The Permit. This man was carrying concealed in a retail store, and he was asked to leave. An employee saw that he was carrying, and he was leaving the store. Well, one of the employees called the police, and they responded to, handle the gun. And he was confronted as he was leaving the store and shot. The police killed him. The guy was a West Point graduate.
Yep.
I don't remember his name, but I believe it's his father that wrote a book about the case. And
well, I remember the case. I was not aware of the book. That's interesting. I'm going to have to get a hold of it. But to your point, yes, well, and that wasn't even open carry. That was concealed carry. But somebody saw the gun and called it in to the police. Paul, do you have a takeaway on this? Kind of what you're there for, what we ought to learn out of this?
Well, it's just, I think you need to be aware of the environment you're in, especially when you're traveling. Like out here in Kansas, we're all used to guns, and nobody gets excited about that sort of thing. And we've had concealed carry for, I think, about 10 years. And then now you see more people open carrying, and nobody seems to get excited about it out here, but especially in some states where the laws have recently changed and people aren't used to seeing that sort of thing.
Right.
You just need to be cautious about people getting excited about you having a gun, and even though you may not be breaking any laws,
It can still go very badly for you. Yeah, you're exactly right, Paul. I appreciate that. One of the things that you need to think through, if you carry a gun, open or concealed, sometimes it is not at all unusual for police to give you two instructions that are absolutely contradictory. I think that's what happened in this case. Don't move, drop the gun. Well, which is it? Don't move, get on your knees. Which is it? If you obey one set of commands, you may be going contrary to the other set of commands, and whichever officer gave you the set of commands or the command that you're disobeying might just shoot you. there's not enough time in those situations to say, okay, you guys get it figured out. Only one of you should be shouting commands, not everybody, because if you get 3 or 4 cops all shouting orders at you, all you get is, you got nothing. You have no idea what they're saying. You have no idea. I would suggest, just throwing this out here, I would suggest that you consider thinking through what you would do. And I think when I've thought through this, what I arrived at is that I'm going to really, really slowly have my hands up with my fingers extended so that they can see there's nothing in my hands. And I'm not doing anything until I get a clear, single command of what I'm supposed to do. Because if somebody says, drop the gun, and you reach in to get your gun to comply with the command, it looks like you're pulling a gun. I'm not sure that's not what happened in this situation in Nevada. I just want you to give it some thought. I talk about this all the time. Look, you got to be sitting in your big easy chair at home, and you got to think through these things. What will I do if? And what am I going to do if the bad guys come in the front of the restaurant, in the back of the restaurant? If I talk to my wife and my family about this? Do we have our family code that if I say this word, everybody stops talking and they do exactly what I say without saying, what, whatever it is? If I say, whatever it is, rutabaga. All right, everybody stops and say, all right, everybody come with me right now. Just don't say a word, just get up and come with me. Because what you don't want to do is have to be explaining, no, shut up. Stop talking. Quit asking me why, what's going on. No. We don't have time for that. We got to get out of here. And I would suggest that the whole police interaction is an area where you need to have thought this through about how you're going to handle it. Calmly responding. Do exactly what's told, but in a very slow motion movement. Keep your hands where people can see them. Some people have gotten upset when I say this, but, your encounter with the police is a life-threatening situation. Everyone, including a traffic stop, can get to that point. Misunderstandings can be deadly. Think it through, know what you're going to do. 866-TALK-GUN.
You're listening to Gun Talk, now on more than 200 great radio stations. Now, here's Tom.
Yes, indeed. We get calls, we get letters. Well, we don't get letters, we get emails. Brandon had called in. He was asking about carrying extra mags and so the likelihood of needing an extra mag. Very slim. Very slim. Now, the likelihood of needing your carry gun. Very slim. Very slim. But you carry one. Why is that? Well, because I would really, really hate to need it and not have it. Same reason for an extra magazine. I would really hate to need it. I would hate to have my gun go down and it can't get it working and I'm in the middle of a gunfight or a fight of some sort. And sometimes the easiest, quickest way to get your gun working again, assuming it's a semi-automatic, is to rip out the ammunition source, i.e. the magazine, and put in a fresh ammunition source, i.e. a different magazine. Because with semi-automatics, if you're having a problem feeding or jamming, I would offer my thought that it's about a 50% chance or better that it's a magazine problem more than anything else. Well, first it might be a shooter problem and then a magazine problem. But the other thing is, I love it. People say, well, the average gunfight is only 2.62759 shots. Great. And if you're not in the average, and if the situation you're in demands that you have to fire a number of shots, I mean, you start looking at some of these dash cam videos that people are getting hit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times. Hit, not shot at, hit. and they're still fighting. And then imagine if there's more than one. You may have to apply some persuasion to more than one person. Look again at that 6-shot gun that you're carrying. And let me tell you, if you need an extra magazine, you need it more than anything in the world. You need it more than you have ever needed anything in your entire life. Why are you not carrying an extra magazine? I don't understand it. Had a guy call in, Liddy called in, by the way, said he had called in some time back and asked who he could trust. Trust being a good part of this. Who he can trust in selling some high-end firearms he had. We told him Johnny Dury, Dury's Guns, right? Dury'sGuns.com. And same as we always say. He just called back today. He said, wanted to thank Michelle and the crew here for the referral. Said he also wanted to thank Johnny. He said he had a great experience there. He said he no sooner shot his or sent his gun to Dury's and found out he'd sold. He's delighted. Dury's Guns, DURYS Guns.com. If you need to sell 1 or 100 or 1,000 guns, I use them. Can't recommend them more highly. Aaron is on line 2. And calling out of Washington State. Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Howdy, Tom.
So what do you got going here? What's your idea?
So my idea is to challenge your listeners to donate money to the Second Amendment Foundation, the NRA, and the ILA. And what I do is I get paid direct deposit, and I have bill pay already set up, so I get paid weekly, which is rare. But every week when I get paid, automatically my bank account sends the Second Amendment, the NRA, and the ILA $5 every week. Now, $5 is the basics. It's something simple, but I do get paid every week. So I'm challenging people to do something similar and set up a bill pay in their account, and they won't even notice it.
Well, now, people are going to say, well, gee, that adds up to a lot. Well, yeah, it does, but the question is, how much pain does it cause you? How much do you miss? So that totals up to $15 a week, right?
Correct.
All right, 5 to the NRA, 5 to ILA, which is the lobbying arm of NRA, and 5 to the Second Amendment Foundation, which does fabulous work on the litigation side. You know, my wife and I went to a drive-through hamburger place recently, and she got out a $10 bill for 2 of us to get a couple of burgers, and $10 didn't get it. It was like $14-15 for 2 burgers, you know, and a couple of drinks. So $15 doesn't go very far, but the other side of that is it probably doesn't impact you a whole lot either.
No, I don't notice it. I don't notice it at all. I mean, up here in the Washington area, we go through a lot of coffee. You know, $7, $5 plus a tip is not uncommon for a drink. And then if, you know, you don't have to do all 3. I wanted to do that, but I know the Second Amendment Foundation, they're doing a lot of work and a lot of heavy lifting. I don't hear much about the ILA, but I still know they're doing work.
Oh, yeah, they're there. And I'll tell you where the ILA is really doing great work is quietly in the halls of Congress. A lot of stuff that never gets introduced or a lot of stuff that goes to die is because the ILA is working on it.
Correct. So the challenge was to get your listeners to maybe do something similar. I mean, $5, most of us won't even notice it, and if you're paid once a month or every 2 weeks or whatever, you might even notice it less. So, I mean, it's just one of those things.
I think it's a fabulous idea. Now, let me ask you, did you come up with that on your own? Did somebody mention it to you? Where did it come from?
I think it was at SHOT Show when I was talking to Second Amendment Foundation a couple years ago. I just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to start donating to these guys. And I didn't like the idea of always going to their website and paying them and doing all that. And I already using bill pay already from all my bills. So I just went, well, let's see if I can donate. And I just typed it in and put donate. And the next thing I noticed, it started going through. And then I went, well, let's do the ILA and let's do the NRA too. And all three of them were starting to go through, and I talked to the Second Amendment Foundation recently and said, yeah, we're getting money from you. We can see it. And same with the NRA. They can see that they're getting money from me. So I was very happy to hear that it was all working out.
That is terrific. I mean, I just think it's a fabulous idea. You know what it is, Aaron, and you touched on this. It's painless. And that's when, you're going to keep doing it. You just set it up. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to write a check. It just gets automatically swept from your account, gets sent over to them. So congratulations. A huge Gun Talk attaboy on that idea. I'm passing along to everybody with Aaron's challenge to everybody. What do you think? Could you do this? Could you set this up? Is there any reason that you wouldn't do this? Call us, 866-TALK-GUN. We will be right back.
You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge, Crimson Trace.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
The Black Hills. There's nothing like it on Earth. The kind of place where characters become legends. Wild Bill Hickok, Crazy Horse, Calamity Jane. Pick any part of the world and you'll find people go there to make it their own. But this is where people come to get made. This is the place that made the people who make the best ammo on Earth. Black Hills Ammunition.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have Gun Dealio, the free app for your smartphone. Gun Dealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get Gun Dealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with Gun Dealio. GunDealio.com.
Join the Ruger 2 Million Gun Challenge and help donate $4 million to the NRA Institute for Legislative Action. The NRA ILA is committed to preserving the Second Amendment right of all law-abiding individuals to purchase, possess, and use firearms. And Ruger pledges to donate $2 for each new Ruger firearm sold between the 2015 and 2016 NRA annual meetings. Visit Ruger.com/2 million to learn more and support the NRA ILA by buying a new Ruger firearm today.
All righty, back with the 866 Talk Gun. Get you in here. Paul's in Reno, line 3. Hey, Paul, you're up.
Hi there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just wanted to put a shout out to everybody in northern Nevada and in the Sacramento area that the Cowboy Fast Draw is having their yearly fastest gun in the West shoot out at Fallon this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I had a chuckle for that guy that came on and said that the nobody could draw a gun and shoot in under 2 seconds.
even with a cowboy rig, an old-fashioned single-action revolver, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he meant that, but I'll tell you what, they just set a new world record by a gentleman by the name of Master Gunfighter. He pulled and shot at 21 feet, .9 2.295 of a second.
Wow. So less than a third of a second to get a shot off. That's reaction time, right? It's going from a signal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's anybody wants to come out and take a look, it's like the Old West. I mean, we have their Western regalia on, and, I mean, everybody's in their, cowboy gear, and it's none of the cowboy action thing where they, they can have the metal inserts in their holster. It's all got to be all leather holsters, 45 single action, and we shoot at 21 feet with wax bullets, and always going to get, like, oh, you can't do that. We got kids shooting too.
That's cool. That's going to be it's in Fallon?
It's in Fallon this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, from 8 o'clock until, probably around not 5 or 6. Depend on how the action goes. I understand we have over 200 shooters this year. That's with men, women, and kids. I mean, we got kids
fabulous.
Shooting. Yeah, we had a kid shooting in the Closest Springs here just the last month. He was 14 years old, and he was shooting consistently in the .36, .37, .38 of a second. So they moved him up to the adults, and none of the kids could handle him.
That's it. You get up there and give the adults a hard time. Paul, look, I appreciate the heads up on that. It's always fun to hear about new or different shooting events, and this one's coming up this weekend. It's line 2. Steve's with us out of Great Bend, Kansas. Steve, this is an interesting idea. What are you proposing here?
Well, I'm just sitting here with Levins from Trainer H&H Magnum, listening to your program, and the gentleman came on with the donation plan.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thought. This is what I do. I had let's say I had a Leupold scope that broke. I sent a Leupold. They repaired it free, so I sent NRA, ILA equivalent value. I had a Lyman case trimmer. I used it for 30 years. It broke. Sent it to Lyman. They repaired it for no charge. So I sent NRA, ILA some money. That's my plan on it.
Now, how do you figure? You just kind of make a rough guess of what you thought it might have cost?
Sure. Yeah, I know what a new case trim is. I figure half. A new scope, I don't know what it costs to repair a scope. I make a reasonable donation then.
What a great idea.
So I kind of feel that, I make other things too, but that's kind of the way it came. Because I read this all the time. People write into websites, boy, my something broke, and I sent it, and, where else in the world do you get things repaired free after you've owned them 30 years?
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy what happens in the gun world. You send it back. They owe you nothing at 30 years, and yet they fix it for free.
Yeah, I tried that with my computer, and they kind of thought it was funny. They didn't believe it. Anyway, that's just my thought for today.
Thank you, Steve. It's a great idea. I appreciate it. It's a wonderful way to go about that. Let's see. Mark's in Aztec, New Mexico on 1. Got an idea here. Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you. Go ahead.
Okay, I can just barely hear you for some reason.
Okay, well, go ahead.
I'm in northwestern New Mexico up here, and we have open carry in this state, and it's not an unusual thing at all to see people, carry it. And we practice it, and we got a good sheriff's department and everything else, and they all, everybody kind of works together,
right?
If you know what I mean. And we get along pretty good doing it. We've never had no problem with it.
That is great. You bring up something interesting here, Mark, and I've suggested this before. If you have a serious open carry movement in your area, and you have an organization or whatever, it's a really good idea if you can do it. Sometimes it's not going to work out for you. Go talk with the police departments, the sheriff's departments in your area, and say, look, we just want to go over this with you. Open carry is legal here. We are open carrying, and we want to make sure that your officers are aware that open carry is legal. And open carrying is not a reason for somebody to be stopped. I mean, just have a conversation. You know what one of the big areas is? I hear this from law enforcement of all levels, from TSA to Homeland Security or whatever, is they say, well, we don't know who they are. You hear that all that. We don't know who they are. We don't know who you guys are. Well, go introduce yourself. If they know who you are, they're a whole lot less likely to react in an adverse manner. Going up, make an appointment with the chief or with the sheriff and have the conversation. Hey, we're the good guys and gals. This is what we do. we just wanted to have that conversation. So no surprises on either end. All right, don't forget that just a few minutes we're going to start the after show if you'd like to be a part of that. And if you heard Leaf Man, you know how interesting the after show can be. So by all means, call us right now and we can get you in there. 866-TALK-GUN. Line 1, Mark's with us. No, correct. Let me see. Oh, I think I messed that one up. Line 4 is where we're going. 4, Rodney in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Rodney.
Hi, I heard you talking earlier how to counteract the media, and get our message out and that stuff. One of the simplest things we can do is just invite folks out to the range.
Absolutely, and you're using our secret weapon. You know what the secret weapon is, Rodney? Shooting is fun.
Yes, it is. It's surprising. Where I work, it's people not like us. I work for a library as a computer technician, but you hear things, and once you invite someone out, their whole tune changes.
Exactly. You take them out, you introduce them the right way. Don't have a big kicking gun or anything like that. Make it easy. Let them shoot up close. Give them some success. They shoot a little bit. They turn around and go, "Wow, that was fun!" And they always sound surprised. You go, "Well, yeah." And then usually it's the next line is, "Can I do it again?" And then you got them. And then they go out and they spread the word too. Rodney, it's a great idea. I applaud it. Exactly right. Invite somebody to go shooting. That's the secret weapon. All right, line 2. Brandon's called back in here. He got cut off with a bad cell phone. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
I'm good. Thank you for calling back in. I saw your note about carrying a second magazine. Do you carry one?
I don't. I've been still carrying for 5 or 6 years, and it's not that I don't want to or that I'm against it. It's just I've never thought about it. I just kind of wonder what the likelihood would be in a situation of emptying your entire firearm of ammo and then needing to do a mag rechange. I mean, has there ever been a situation in the past where that happens?
Sure, a lot of times. The likelihood is very, very small you will need a second magazine. The likelihood is also very, very small you will actually need your gun at all. And here's the other thing. The more you shoot, the more you realize that magazines are the weak area in a semi-automatic pistol. And so it may not be that you shot all your ammo. It may be that you got a crappy magazine and it fed 2 rounds and now it won't work anymore and nothing you can do will make it work. But the smart thing is to rip it out, throw that SOB away, take out your other magazine, put it in the gun, rack the slide, get back into the fight with an approved functioning source of ammunition. It's kind of like it's the whole deal of what's the downside of carrying it and what's the upside? What's the worst that could happen? Because trust me, if you need that second magazine, you need it more than anything in the world, more than anything you've ever needed in your life. You need it. And look, an extra magazine's nothing to carry around. It's just not a big deal. What kind of gun do you carry?
It's a Car P380, so the second magazine is very, very small and light.
Well, so you're carrying a gun with very limited ammunition in it in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay, Here's the thing. A 380, it's very possible, in fact, it's very likely you could get 6 or 7 shots into the right part of a bad guy, and he still needs more persuading. Or there could be more than one bad guy. We always make a mistake, and this is where training comes in. We make a mistake when we envision in our mind it's going to be me and that guy, and I'm going to shoot him, he's going to fall down. Great, wonderful. Go get some training and work on shooting 2, 3, 4 different targets at a time, moving, reloading, having malfunctions where we cause malfunctions during the training, and you don't even know it's coming, and all of a sudden you got to reload your gun and get it back in the fight. I'm serious, and I'm just as sincere as I can be about it. That's the kind of training you need. That's the kind of training that can save your life. That's the kind of training that can save your family. Why would you not get that? I don't get that. All right, after show coming up, 866-TALK-GUN. Give us a call. In the meantime, be sure to get your copy of Gun Dealio. It's free. It's on your smartphone. And I tell you what, you'll save money when you have that. Be safe and check your 6.